people? This is William Jones making videos about leaving religion. The purpose of the videos is to get you to think. Turn your brains on and think. And use logic and use reason and realize that religion is fake. What's up, people? What's up? I hope everyone is good that's watching the video. Hope your lives are prosperous as well. Don't know what I'm going to talk about. Just going to talk. A lot going on. I know for me personally, at work, 4th of July weekend is upon us. I don't know when the video will drop. And myself, I'm going to a concert that as soon as I heard about it, I bought my tickets. So the concert features Rakim. Y'all know the God, Rakim. KRS-One, the GOAT. Slick Rick the Ruler, my favorite. Big Daddy Kane, and Chubb Rock. Love all these guys and their music. And I'm going to get to see them perform, this weekend. I have so been waiting for them, kind of nervous. I've been waiting for this thing so long. I mean, to see all of these guys together, if you old school hip hop, you know what I'm talking about. I grew up on these guys, still listen to their stuff. Even KRS-One is like on his 26th album, still making music. He is by far the GOAT. I don't care what nobody says. If he ain't in your top 5 or at least your top 10, I don't even want to talk about it, for real. He's the GOAT. But anyway, on to the video. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I've been dealing with people in the comments sections, of course. We still have people saying things to me, whether negative or positive in the comments, which is to be expected. I mean, they have a right to all of that, so it is what it is. And one thing people come to me about still is wanting to leave religion or having left, or I mean, they saying they have left religion, but still have the fear of hell. And I get it. I'm not dogging anybody because I understand it. You kind of leave in stages. For me, I know when I left, I was like, first I was like, the God thing isn't real. The Jesus thing isn't real. Then I let go of the hell thing isn't real. And the last thing I let go of, which scared me the most, they give you the most fear about, is not so much always hell, but just saying that the Holy Spirit wasn't real. Oh, you can't blaspheme the Holy Spirit. You'll never be forgiven for that, and so if the other two aren't real in the Trinity, then what am I holding on to think about the Holy Spirit is real? It's kind of like saying Candyman in the mirror, in the bathroom in the dark 5 times. It's not real, but a lot of people won't do it. So you just got to let it go and realize if he's not doing anything for you now, then he's definitely not going to show up to punish you later. If you're not going to help me, then don't show up for punishment. One doesn't justify the other. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. And when we look at a lot of things about, I think I'm rambling. I'm talking about this like with hell. I know for me, when you look at like a Greek mythology, and you look at Hades, or what is he called, Pluto in Rome, but Hades, as he's known, and he's the ruler of Hades, the world of the dead, where the dead souls go, and that's basically where hell comes from. Hell, Hades, same thing. Then you talk about the lake of fire, Tartarus. That's the more torturous part of Hades for those who have, I guess, overly disobeyed and what have you. But it's the same thing. And Jesus, so-called, went to hell and came back, just like, what is his name, Orpheus, came back as well when he was trying to rescue his love, Eurydice. He escaped. And also, what was the other guy's name? Sisyphus? I think his name was Sisyphus. He was what they call him, he was supposedly the first king of Corinth, something to that effect. And he tricked Hades and got out of death twice. So Zeus came in and intervened, and so nobody else would even think about trying to escape from Hades, or AKA hell, and it's all mythology. If you look at it in the Greek and you look at it in the Christian, it's the same thing. You know, you even go back to the Egyptians, they got the feather and the good got to outweigh the bad. And it's always, since it's the unknown, you can make up whatever you want to make up about it, because no one really goes there, experiences things, and then comes back and talk about it. Oh, well, I've been in the hospital, this happened. I've been in the hospital and died and came back. But I'm just saying, like, go on there and you can vividly talk about the place. And if your body is still here, you're just going to fall into the same category that other people that talked about hell. And then when you find out the people that talked about hell, most of them, they grew up in a Christian type surrounding. And some of them said, no, they wasn't a Christian, but they were privy to the doctrine. Which, when you're doped up on things in the hospital especially, you know, a lot of the things that you believe, your brain is just like a dream. It can still formulate those things to make you believe that's what happened. Because I had the same thing happen to me, and I thought that was what it was, until I had later hallucinations on other surgeries and saw, you know, your brain can make up whatever it wants to make up. I'd be in my room and I had a TV on, a sitcom would be on, and I would close my eyes, and it was psychedelic. My brain was just making up its own thing based off of the audio I was hearing from the TV. And every once in a while, I opened my eyes up to see, like, if they matched. And my brain had made up something totally different than what was on the TV. So I know it's possible. I know it for a fact. I know some people, you know, a lot of time in religion, people stick to experiences. We know that. People will say, well, I had an experience. I know God is real from my experience. So their experience is what makes them believe that God or Jesus, whoever, is real. But if you want them to pull up some actual evidence, there is none. It's just from an experience. But that's just not enough for everyone to go off of your experience. If God wanted somebody else to really know him, he would skip past the belief part and go to the you knowing him, so belief would be obsolete. There's no need to believe because you know. And not only can you just know, but also you can prove. You have something to, I want to introduce you to Jesus, and then they want you to believe. That's not introducing me to somebody by telling me you just want me to believe in them like you do. So now I gotta, like the hallucinations, I gotta make up my own experiences with Jesus. But it's still not the same Jesus you have. I just made up my own stuff. You made up your own stuff. It's just not real. I was watching on television yesterday a program about how the earth formed. And they was talking about the dust in space collecting together because on the space station somebody had some salt in a bag, and noticed that for some reason when the salt was floating around, it tended from the static, it all tended to clump together rather than just be separate. It just kind of all stuck together. So they looked at that like, oh, these particles begin to stick together, and as it got bigger, of course, more particles would be attracted to it. And however the gravity or whatever started, I don't know. But this is the theory of what they were saying. And that, you know, as it got bigger and bigger and bigger and caught into the gravity of the sun, and it, you know, was molten and so on and so forth. And they, the kicker was when they have actual rocks and they can cut through them and look and see how things were formed in those rocks. And so it was like, well, according to the evidence, you know, only way this type of rock can form is if there is water present. And plus this has to happen that, but my point is not to teach you or try to get you to believe however the earth was formed. The point was that they had actual evidence, that they were going off of the evidence and not just totally off everything is off of belief. There was actually something to show. When they dated the rocks, they dated back 4.3 billion years. And I mean, I'm just saying like this: the same lava or elements that are on Earth haven't gone anywhere. Whether they seep down to the core, seep down to the mantle, to the crust, and come back up, it just doesn't matter. Somehow, it hasn't left Earth, it's still here. Just like the water. The water isn't gone, the water is still here. Well, let me side note on that, on the water. I'm going to tell y'all this. I've been wanting to do this for years. I really think I know what's going on with the water. You can say what you want to say, but this is what I think is going on with the water. Because I went and visited the Hoover Dam. In the Hoover Dam, the water levels have dropped so drastically. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can see where the water used to be, and it's just drying up. And some of the things that spin when the water go through, the water's not even high enough to even go through there. Those parts are not even being used anymore. All the water now going towards Vegas and California don't want to return their water. Whatever it is, but the water is drying up. This is what I want to say about this. Plastic is not biodegradable. Plastic will stay plastic for a long time, but yet since we've started making drinks in plastic bottles with tops, I've noticed that a lot of people throw away bottles with fluid in them with the tops on. My oldest son, when he played football, his 9th grade year, and they had me come out to record the games. They wanted different parents to do it, but the way I recorded it, they just wanted me to be the cameraman for the season. So the kids will have all the Gatorade bottles before the game, and then at the end they come in the trash bag, and I'm watching all these kids just throwing away Gatorades they didn't finish with the tops on. Now multiply that by all the kids that's doing that around the country, and that's a lot of fluid that's trapped in bottles that's getting thrown into landfills. That water cannot be released back into the atmosphere to evaporate, to get away from the sugar and everything else that might have been in it. It could be in use in the air. Notice how all this climate control and things, the water has a lot to do with it. This is just what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, then whatever, but this is what I'm saying from what I've seen. People are always throwing away plastic bottles with the tops on it. If you recycle, like I do, they'll tell you take the tops off. You know, rinse the bottles out with water so the bees don't come because of the sugar and the drinks and things like that. But there's a lot of fluids trapped in plastic bottles in landfills that we need to be released back into circulation. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a degree on this stuff. It's just from what I've seen. It just makes sense to me. All right? So, anyway, back to what I was saying. They had evidence of what they were saying and not just talking about belief. Yet, when you come to religions, it's based strictly on believing while having absolutely no evidence. No evidence. There's nothing to show. It's all about faith. They'll tell you faith is better than evidence. Now, anybody that's telling you that faith is better than evidence is conning you. They are conning you. No, evidence will always trump faith. You only have faith because you don't have evidence. Once you get evidence, you no longer need the faith. I have faith that I'll get a phone. Okay, I got a phone. I got a phone. I'm holding the phone. Now, what do I need faith in the phone for now that I got the phone? Because if I tell anybody about this phone, I can talk about, oh yeah, I got a new phone. Oh man, the phone is nice phone, does this, does that. All right, nice phone. Yeah, your faith in the phone. No, it's right here. You can touch it. They don't have to believe that I have the phone. No one has to believe it. I have it. Faith is now obsolete. We don't need it anymore. Once you have evidence, faith is no more. Faith without works is dead. No. Without works is all dead. You don't need faith. You just need the works. Do the works. The works get the things done. The works will get things done. If the people are hungry and you want to feed the hungry, you don't need to pray on it. You don't need to believe anything. All you need is to get the resources, get the food, and get it to the people. You don't need to pray about that. Prayer is not going to help any. In fact, you're wasting time while you're praying. Get the food to the people, and it's done. Works. You don't need faith. You just need the works. Do the works, and you're good. So, it's just a whole bunch of mess. Whole bunch of mess. Faith and believing. But no evidence. No evidence for things that sound totally ridiculous in reality. In reality. And God is the God idea is like a shapeshifter. It can shape and shift to whatever the person who believes in it wants it to be. To whatever they want it to be. Any situation happens, they can slide that God figure in there and say, well, this happened, why? But see, because God did it. See how God made it happen? No. Life happens. I was just telling somebody this. Life happens. You know what? You didn't get a nail in your tire because the devil was sitting out there holding up a nail, knowing when you was going to come by and then make sure the nail got in your tire. Somehow that nail got dropped in the road. And a lot of people could have rolled over that nail, but when it got stuck in your tire, it happened to roll in the right way to puncture the tire. There's nothing deep about that. There's not karma. You got a nail in your tire. You know, you avoided a car accident because you saw that person trying to run that yellow light that turned red, and you saw them when you hit the brakes because you said he's driving like a nut. And it was nothing deep about that. I mean, things in life happen. But when you believe in a God, you will always somehow insert the God into that situation when it's favorable. Now, when the situation goes left and it doesn't go good, well, you can still insert the God in that too. If a person dies, we've all heard that, well, God called them home. You know, it was their time. They'll insert it even into the bad situation, to be honest. So I can't say that. Oh, God was testing them, or, you know, I've even heard the one, you know, when two of my friends got killed in a double murder, and he said, you know, sometimes the good Lord will close the eyes of two to open the eyes of many. And we thought, oh, that was so deep. I realized now that wasn't deep at all. That's sinister if it was real. You got to kill people to let other people know, to know what? So that means you're real because you allowed two people to get murdered? Think about that. That makes no sense whatsoever. Allow two people to get murdered, two young men to get murdered. So that there's a hype right then in the church, and a couple people give their lives at the funeral or any time around. I mean, come on, man. This inserting that God thing in there to make it work in their minds, Because I got to sit around all the time and hear people talk all the God stuff, and I let them talk it. I just don't comment. I don't comment on it. That's your thing. You want to believe it, believe it. It's just not for me. So that floats your boat. Cool. But I don't have to amen it. and expound on it, because that's what you believe. And like I always say, what you believe has nothing to do with me. And Christians don't understand that. Just because you believe something does not affect me. Because you believe I don't serve your God, somehow bad things in life are going to happen to me. That's on you. And then if good things happen to me and I don't believe in your God, then you'll call that, well, the devil can bless people too. So now it's the devil because good things happen to me, but I don't believe what you believe? Do we hear how this sounds? So basically what's going on here is, it goes back to the cognitive dissonance. I want to do another video about that. It goes back to people will say things that soothes them. It soothes their belief with them. So they have to make it make sense. Like, how is it I'm following, as they think they are, I'm following the Bible, and I'm scratching and scraping to get by, and this person don't even believe in God, got a nice car, nice house, got money, and then what do you turn that into? The devil can bless too. Why's it got to be the devil? Why does it have to be the devil? Come on. That's the statement just being said that makes them feel better. Now, I don't know if I said this on the last video or not. I'm going to just say it again. I've said a lot of things over again. Is that you can't take people's brains to a place that they can't fathom. If they can't fathom it, they can't reason about it. That's why you'll hear them say some of the craziest things defending the Bible, rather than just say, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. No, they're going to hold on to what the Bible has said. They believe that, no matter how outrageous it sounds. But their brain cannot just go to the place to say, yeah, that makes no sense at all. That is stupid. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. If y'all remember The Matrix, when they first told Neo, I hope I ain't, well, spoiler alert, and if you ain't seen The Matrix, that's on you. Spoiler alert, though. When they pulled Neo out of the Matrix and they told him what was real, remember, he's going to pop, and he threw up. Later, Morpheus apologized to Neo for unplugging him, saying normally when a person gets to a certain age, we don't unplug them because the brain simply can't handle it. What I've believed all my life, come to find out it's a lie, makes you snap. Same way if you're in a relationship and find out your significant other has been cheating on you. Why do people snap? Because there's something in their brain that they have not gone there. They have not gone there. They just couldn't believe that person could do that. But then it's a reality. So they act out because they're now in a place that they have not fathomed before. Now, people who have been through it before might act a lot differently because they've been there before. But a lot of first-time people can do some crazy things in that situation. When you find out someone has died that we don't expect to die. Now, when an older person dies, that can be more expected. But when you find out a young person has died, especially like it's a car accident, it's a random shooting, something to that effect, what's the first thing people say when such and such died? I just talked to him last week. They're going to normally mention the last time they spoke with the person or saw the person. And then they're going to say in there, I can't believe it. Right. The brain has to adjust eventually, though, because it's a reality. It's not like believing religion where you can sit there and keep fooling yourself and keep lying to yourself and not listen to what anybody is giving you as evidence when a person dies and you're not going to see them anymore. The brain now has to accept that fact, and it's gonna be hard for the brain to do that. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, psychologist, or anything. I'm just telling you this is the way I picture it. Okay, the way I picture. I know in the comments people say all kind of things, but I'm just telling you this is the way I picture it. If you have a jar full of let's just say, to make it simple, I do this, a gumball machine. You have a big gumball machine. All these gumballs, when they pour the gumballs in there, the gumballs are going to settle. Boom, they settle. When somebody buys a gumball and one of those gumballs comes out, it forces all the other gumballs to shift. Everything has to shift to accommodate for the space of the gumball that left. Every time a gumball comes out, the other gumballs end up having to shift. Shift. And in the brain doesn't like change. The brain does not like to change. It likes to stay the same. It likes to keep things the way they were. So when the brain is forced to change, again, this is my opinion, when the brain is forced to make that change that it does not want to make, that's when the emotions get stirred up, and because all of the memories of that person now have to be accounted for as that person is gone now. I won't see them anymore, and in turn we cry. We cry. The brain is shifting to adjust to that. And we cry. And I always tell anybody, cry. Don't hold it in. Let those gumballs shift. Let it all out and cry. It's a part of the reality. They're gone. You're not going to see them again. If you're religious, people will say, well, I'm going to see them again. And we all say, you ain't going to see them again. It's done. It's a done deal. But it just makes people feel so much better knowing I'm going to see them again. And when you die, we ain't going to see you again. When I die, you ain't going to see me again. It's a wrap. It's done. But that makes people feel better knowing I'm going to see him again. Right. And if you're going to see him again forever, that's kind of boring. I'm going to see nobody. A visit is nice because they leave. That's what makes a visit real good. They got to leave. Let me miss you. We all going to be hanging around together. Is that one of my daughters? Was that the air conditioner? I don't know. But that false hope makes people feel better. All religion does is give you a false hope. That's all it does. Nobody's here. I'll check the camera. So, when it comes to what people believe, that cognitive dissonance, I'm touching on that, you want to touch on it, that cognitive dissonance is not going to allow you to change their foundation that their life is built on. Their life is built on those beliefs. And if you crack that foundation, the building is going to have to shift. Something's going to happen to that building. A lot of us that left religion, you know that building collapsed. I know it did for me. Wanted to be a pastor of a big church and teach people and so-called lead them to freedom, wanted to do that, and then find out it's all fake. That whole building, that all of those hopes and dreams I had collapsed. And I had to rebuild. Many people are scared of that collapse. So many people will even live the lie because they fear the collapse of that mental building. They hold on. They'll fight you, they'll get mad with you, cuss you out when you attack that foundation. Because they don't want that building to collapse. Their life has been built around that building of belief. They got to have that God thing to fall back on when something happens. And you're attacking the foundation. So that's why you can't just lead people out of religion. I'm just saying you can't just I left on my own. You got to leave on your own, and just let that facade building collapse. Move it all away. Start a new foundation built in reality and truth, and live from there. And you know what? You'll be like, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it all over again. I don't even want to go back to it. You know how Christians, they will say, and mind you again, you got to remember they're saying things to you. They're saying things to you to protect their foundation. Oh, I just feel you gonna come back to Jesus. You're not saying that for me. You're saying that for you. I'm gonna pray for you. You ain't praying for me. You praying for me for you. And how you gonna pray for me without asking me what I need prayer for? That's kind of arrogant. You're gonna pray for me what? You're gonna pray for me that I believe again in the nonsense like you do because you can't accept that I don't believe it anymore. So it will make you feel better if I believe it again. So you're going to pray for me that I go back to being brain dead and believing in this religion, despite the fact that I found evidence that it's just not real, but that makes you feel better. That makes you higher than me. Your way is better than my way. Why? Because you got to look down on me and tell me I'm going to pray for you. I didn't ask for your prayer, and don't pray for me. And when you say don't pray for me, in arrogance, what will they say? Well, I'm going to pray for you anyway. Again, you're not praying for me for me. You're praying for me to protect what you believe. Because I'm free from it. And I know your prayer not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm not coming back to believing nonsense. You can pray. All y'all can pray. They had a whole day. One day was a year or two ago. The whole group got together to pray for atheists. I was like, that's pointless. Y'all just wasting your time. Y'all are praying to make yourselves feel better. We pray and say grace over food that you don't work to buy. You don't spend all day cooking. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that stuff. You don't spend all day cooking. You don't seasoning it. You done all the work. And then at the end want to hold hands and think some imaginary figure that did nothing. If that was true, then everyone would be eating on those holidays. Not just the people who had money to buy food. Everyone will be eating. When you say grace, every day, everyone should be eating. So if everyone is not eating, why? Why are they not eating? If God provided you your food, then couldn't he provide this food for everyone else? But if he's not, something's lacking. Money? Money is lacking. They don't have the money to buy the food. They don't have a place to cook the food, store the food. Something is missing other than just saying grace for some food. It's pointless. But when you're religion, you got to say this. Why? To make you feel better. You know people out here starving and standing out on every corner with signs asking for money. Some real, some scamming. But If God was providing, then everybody would have. You'll see the animals in the jungle, the lions the zebra just don't come to the lion and, here I am, eat me. No, they got to go catch these animals. They got to work for it, and more times than not, they fail. They fail, and they keep failing, then they die from starvation. So I'm praying to God for food. So there's the animals. So if the animals was praying, one animal would be praying not to be caught and eaten, and the other animal is praying to catch and eat. So which prayer is going to be answered? Oh, sorry, Mr. Antelope, you lose today because the lions are hungry. Trip him up. Oh, I'm sorry about that. No. It's life, and it's about chance. Sometimes those animals get away, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the lions eat, sometimes they starve. It's just the way it goes. So, I mean, life is life. Life is living. Life is alive. Life doesn't care about your plans. Life doesn't care about none of that. Life happens. It happens. We make plans to do this and do that, and something happens, and we got to pay for extra stuff that we did not plan for a while, because life is life. Oh, sorry, your pipe's busted in your house. You got to replace that. Man, but I got to take my savings. You saved. Now you paying for the pipes. Your engine acting up. You got to pay for that engine in the car. Your AC went out, and then you got to pay for that. And you know what? AC don't go out in the winter, and heat don't go out in the summer. It's funny how that works, right? Things happen, and life doesn't care. Life is living. Life does its thing. It doesn't care about what you have planned. I am not saying to not plan, but you can plan, but it's not. Life doesn't have to obey what you've planned. Man, I'm just talking, ain't I? Somebody probably understands what I'm saying here. Another analogy I made, I'm probably not going to get back to the other ones I said. I mean, it's all about the belief and all of that. And people, like I said, people are saying things to make themselves feel better. They saying things to make themselves feel better. Another analogy I used before was concrete. When they lay that sidewalk out, and you know, we was kids, and they lay that sidewalk out, you can't wait till they do that, they leave, and you get that stick and write your initials in it. Because you know, the only time you can write your initials in that concrete is when it's soft. And then later you come back, that concrete has settled, and your initials are in there, and they can't change it unless they break that concrete. And that's the same way the brain works. That child comes out the womb with that soft brain, even got a soft spot. That brain is branded, that brain is a clean slate. That child knows nothing. That's why the children right away, they learn what they're experiencing right away. They know who's feeding them right away. They know if I cry like this, somebody will come. Oh, now I need a diaper change. Ah, I'm hungry. Ah, whatever it is, they sleeping there. Ah, they gonna cry. They gonna do something. I just want some attention. Ah, my grandson. When I held him, he was what? He wasn't even 2 weeks old. I don't think. The boy got a head full of hair, eyes open, and was holding his own head up. I'm like, what the crap? How this boy holding his own head up? He like 2 weeks old. And when I was holding him, I had him laying in my arm, and we had a little family function here. Everybody was here. My kids were here with their kids and friends, whoever. And when I held that boy and had him lying down, he started crying. I took him, set him on my knee, and held him up, put my hand in front of him on my chest, held him on his back, and he had his little head up. He had his eyes open so he could see, and when he could see, he was fine. He was like, I'm hearing all this talking, but I can't see nothing but the ceiling when you got me like this. When I held him up so he could see people, he stopped crying. He's already learning. His brain is learning. They know who takes care of them. They know. They know if I make this noise, they know. And children are like predators. They find the weak. They will find the weak, because sometimes, you know, with the fathers, be like, they cry, like, oh, shut the noise up. Let them cry. Cry don't kill nobody, ain't good. Then the mama hear him crying, like, oh, he crying, I gotta do something. So they're gonna devour the weak. That's what they do. It can be vice versa, either or. But they learn, is my whole point. They learn. And then when you start raising them, taking them to church, they learn that. Oh, they in church, they start learning, oh, stand up. Bow your head, close your eye. All right, now sit down. You learn all of that church stuff. You've learned it. God didn't teach you nothing. You learned it from your parents by going to church. It was nothing that some God showed up and did. You were taught these things. That's why like people like Ricky Smiley, they can sit there and him and other comedians can joke about church. If you grew up in church, you understand it because you grew up in church too. We had to go for Bible study. Some churches you had to go for Friday, the Friday service. You had some churches, of course, you go to Sunday service, and some always had a second service. And if you was in choir, you had choir practice. It was all kinds. Sometimes you were in church all week long. People went so much in their youth years, they don't want to go in there an adult. But they understand and know the church world. You learned it. You were taught this. You learned it. You was a blank slate when you came into the world and you learned this. When you see comedians, this is another one. You see the comedians, a lot of comedians now, they always joke with white people in the room, and they'll tell the difference between white people and black people. And I can't say that the white people, well, if you haven't lived it, you're not going to understand how it is. Because I can watch some white comedy and not understand everything they went through because I didn't live that. But on the black side, when they're explaining to white people the things that black people do and why we do them, of course I understand that because I lived it. You know, you understand, you know what the smell of hair going through a hot comb smells like. You know that. You know that smell. Shea butter and cocoa butter. You know these things. It's a lot of things we learn. How do we learn them? Because we lived it. So the brain is a blank slate, and whatever you put in there, just like that concrete, once it solidifies, it's there. So you can have people believing in God without ever having any evidence because they were taught it all their lives. That's the foundation of their life, and now they can't change. They don't want to change. And even if some tell you, I don't care what you show me, I'm not going to not believe because under all circumstances, they cannot let that building of belief ever crumble. And when you've let yours crumble, they can't fathom in their minds how you allowed that to happen. You can't even take a minute. I don't know how you did that. That's just crazy. You don't believe in God? Why should I? What's the first thing they're going to say? Well, who made you? Look around, look at the earth. Like that's evidence for what you believe. I watched the whole program showing how the earth came to be. I watched the whole program where the water came from. Water was in the salt minerals from the comets that hit the earth. Amino acids, the building blocks of life, was in the comets that hit the earth. And then when the green stuff starts growing, then it releases the oxygen to the world and to the so-called earth at the time, and all the oxygen gets released and we get an atmosphere. And I mean, come on, man. Look, take some in your refrigerator, a dish, and leave that dish of food in your refrigerator for 3 months and come back to it. It done grown all kind of stuff on it in 3 months. 3 months. If you left that dish there for like 1,000 years, a creature will probably walk out of there. You don't know. You talk about life over millions of years and what changes. Things change. I'm going back to that. But my point was that they won't allow things like this to seep into their world because according to what they believe, God said, God formed, God did, God made the heavens and the earth. That's it. God did it. And that's all they need. God said it, God did. What did it say? God said it, I believe it, that settles it. God said it, I believe it, that settles it. They don't want to hear nothing else. But nothing in your world that you're dealing with got made or done with someone settling for the answer of God did it. There's not a person watching me on this YouTube video who's watching me because the people that made your computer just said, well, God did it. Who made the camera recording? God did it. Made the SIM card? God did it. Made the internet? God did it. Nobody settled for God did it. God did it, nothing would be done. If we settle for God did it, nothing would be done. No plagues would have been cured. Nothing. Things wouldn't have been built, been done, advanced. Nothing, because when you settle for God did it, that means there's nothing for you to do. But when we settle for no, we gotta do something, then something gets done. Because the time when religion was running the earth, what we call it the Dark Ages. That was the Dark Ages. Nothing advanced. Hundreds of years went by, nothing advanced because religion said, no, don't leave that alone, you're messing with the will of God. But the plague is killing thousands, but that's the will of God, just let it run its course. And people said, forget that, we're going to solve this thing. And they started looking into it and they solved it. There ain't no black plague no more. All this stuff. I mean, we had all the polio and measles, all this stuff. A lot of that stuff going. They working on HIV. They working on HPV. They working on, what's the other one? I can't think of the other one. I can't think, but they working on these things. They got cures for stuff now. Instead of sitting around talking about some God, they laying hands on the church, thinking they healing somebody while the person going to the doctor, taking the medications that heal. Over that mess. God did it. He did nothing. You gonna do it. Everything need to be done, guess what? Get ready to do it, because you're gonna have to do it. You don't do it, they gonna get done. That's how this works. God did it. Then people can't understand when you be like, I can't rely on that. And you don't. I mean, if they go to reality, you don't rely on that. Anybody can buy a house, get a car by saying God did it. Hey, God said, give me this house. Here you go. God ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. That's not the answer for anything. Well, look, y'all, I've been talking for a while now, I guess. I guess it'd be a good video for somebody. And y'all know I do have to go back and watch my own videos. Oh, my camera dying anyway. But I do have to go back and watch my videos myself. I record the video, and since it's not rehearsed, I'm just talking, I honestly have to go back and watch it myself. You know what I'm saying? And even when I edit the video, I'm still working when I'm editing the video. I still have to wait till the video goes up and it's done. And then I play the video and I watch the video the same way y'all watch the video. And I'm like, wow, that was good. Well, I enjoyed that. Well, I like that myself. Because as long as it makes sense, it makes sense. And a lot of times I will say what I say, because I mean, I'm going to say the same thing, so I agree with me. So, anyway, I'm about to take this video to an end. And I will see y'all on the next video. I'm going to put the Cash App on the screen. Oh, and I don't know, I keep forgetting to say this at the beginning of the video. I'm going to put it on the editing. Like and subscribe. Like, share and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe the video. Send them to people, let them see it. Just place it places. And like mold, and let it grow. Just put it somewhere. Share it somewhere. You have no idea what might happen. Put the information out there. You got people who are looking for support systems. They come out of religion. They need help. So just put the videos out there. Help me, help y'all, help other people. We're just helping people, okay? So I'll put the Cash App up there. If you want to send something, you do, you don't, whatever. It don't change nothing, all right? And I will see y'all on the next video. And y'all take care out there. Peace.